Welcome to Listening to the Verde. Listening to the Verde is a program to inspire and engage and inform you about the Verde River and its communities. I'm Nancy Steele, Executive Director of Friends of the Verde River. This program is brought to you by Arizona Humanities with additional support from the Lutheran Mission Endowment Fund. Our guest today on Listening to the Verde is Chairwoman Tanya Lewis. Welcome and thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Nancy. I appreciate it.
Chairwoman Lewis was elected chairwoman of the Yavapai-Apache Nation, taking office in October of 2022. She was vice chairwoman on the Tribal Council from 2019 to 2022 before being elected chairwoman. She also served as a council member from 2010 to 2013 and as the executive assistant to the chairman from 2014 to 2019. She's lived here all of her life and raised her family here. Chairwoman Lewis, I'm so pleased that you're joining us on Listening to the Verde. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you for allowing me to be here and join with you. As shared, I'm Tanya Lewis. I'm from the Yavapai-Apache Nation. My parents are the late Lyman and Ethel Lewis of Clarkdale. I have two children. My son his name is Lance. He works with our utility department, and I have my daughter Taylor, who is attending NAU as a freshman this year. I just have the two children, and I am the Standing Walnut clan, which means that my family roots in our culture. I follow the matriarchal society, which we are rooted here in the Verde Valley, which Standing Walnut comes from. I was born and raised in Clarkdale, so I went to school. My elementary schools in Cottonwood and in Clarkdale. I graduated from Mingus Union High School. I hold a degree in business management through Yavapai College and looking to pursue the bachelor's degree that I was very excited to see that Yavapai College will be providing. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I pursue education, when I was younger, as a council member, I always encourage us to work hard. If we can't work, pursue education. And back then, I only had a high school diploma. So as a leader, I feel it's important to lead by example. If we encourage our students and our children to continue education, us ourselves need to set that tone, set that platform, and follow it as well. And I also am a first participant, one of the first participants in the ASU Indigenous Leaders Academy that was held last January, which I worked through as an ASU student. So continuing education and learning is very important, not only for myself, but personally and professionally, but it's an encouragement and a stepping stone to show our children, no matter where we are in life, that we can still continue to educate ourselves for a betterment for all of us.
That's wonderful. Education is so important. Talk to us some more about the Yavapai-Apache Nation. I don't know that everybody who's watching this show knows or understands what the Yavapai-Apache Nation is.
The Yavapai-Apache Nation, we have been here since time immemorial. This is our homeland. The Verde Valley has been our home since the beginning. We are two distinct tribes. We are Yavapai and Apache people, which meaning Yavapai, we have our own culture and language, and we also in Apache, we have our own culture and language in which we were unified together to live in harmony. With the history here with us, as already stated, that we've lived here since time immemorial. In 1875, we were rounded up like cattle here in the Verde Valley, in which we were taken from our homeland. We were held as prisoners in war and force marched to San Carlos Reservation, where we were held there until 1900. From 1900, we were allowed to leave. Some of us stayed in San Carlos, and some of us made the long trip home. Right now we have freeways and highways and roads, dirt roads, whatever it may be. But back then, we came, some of us survived, and some of us didn't. So we walked along the rough terrain during the winter months to get us where we are here today. And that leads us to our Exodus Day commemoration that we hold annually in February. It's held on February 25th this year, which we do a commemoration on behalf of our nation to show appreciation. We are here because of those who were forced marched to leave and those of us who came back. When we came back home, we came back to nothing. So when we were first here, we were 40 miles east and west of the river. Verde River was our homeland.
Mhm.
That was all taken away when we came back. So now we are now down to the 5 communities that we were in, that we are currently in now, which is the Toomey, Little Verde, Camp Verde, Rimrock, and Clarkdale areas is now our home. During this, over all these years, and even to today, so previous leadership, previous all of our elders, to this day, we have to buy parcels back to build our community back. A long time ago, there wasn't very many tribal members here. Today, we serve over 2,600 tribal members, and where we live throughout the world. And that is, so we're working towards that. That is the history of our tribe.
Yeah. So I know, I hear the pain and the trauma of being rounded up and taken away from the land. So how is it that the white settlers or the people from the U.S. Army thought that you were the same people? How is it that the Yavapai and Apache Nation became a nation as opposed to Yavapai or Apache? Because you are two different groups of people, but how did that happen?
Along the way, when it wasn't just us that was rounded up, along the way, as you notice, every tribe has their own story.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, we're here in the Verde Valley and force marched southeast from here,
Mm-hmm.
over 200 miles. Along the way, you see there's Tonto Apache, there's Yavapai Prescott, leading up into San Carlos. So along the way, we are all, and there's even Fort McDowell Yavapai Nation.
Mm-hmm.
We were all taken to San Carlos, but we all went different directions. And along the way, we intermarried and intermingled, and that's how we came to be.
So when you came back, how did the government recognize you as a nation?
It's through a constitution in 1935, which we were established.
Okay. And as you said, you live in harmony together. So between 1900 and 1935, there must have been a lot of conversation and prayer and thinking and working together to be able to go to the U.S. government and say, well, we want to be one nation.
I don't think that's a fair statement to make.
Okay.
Or a question to ask, because living together, because we are intermingled, we are family, and the only difference we could tell was because we, as I shared, Yavapai is a different dialect and a whole different culture and language, as yet Apache is the same.
Yeah, okay. What, and so, you've lived here all your life. Maybe we could shift gears a little bit and talk about how the nation works. You have a tribal council, and you have elections, just like
Mm-hmm.
any other country does, and you run your own country. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So our council is made up of 9 members, and that is the chairperson, the vice chairperson, and 7 council members. So that comprises us all of 9. We have 3 areas. We have the executive branch, we have the legislative branch, and we have the judicial branch. The executive branch is the chairperson and the vice chairperson, which is the government operations. The legislative branch is the tribal council, which we regulate, maintain, and uphold the laws, make the laws for the Yavapai-Apache Nation. And then the judicial branch, of course, is our tribal court that we have. They are 3 separate branches, and we do not intermingle, similar to that of the United States. So we do not intermingle with that. We have elections every year When we are elected, we have terms that we're allowed to serve, which are 3-year terms, and we're allowed to have 2 consecutive terms. So as the chairperson, they hold 3 years, the vice chair, and then 1 council member. The 3 of us come in on the same year. So the chair and the vice serve together through the 3 years with the council member. And then we have staggered terms. So there's 3 seats that are filled every year.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so when somebody wants to work with you, they have to understand that you're a nation.
Yes.
In other words.
Yes.
And that you have that distinction.
Yes, we have our own rules. We have our own laws that we follow.
Yeah, yeah. And so I guess when you're, I want to kind of shift a little bit to talking about your experience growing up here and raising your family and what that was like.
Sure. So I was born and raised in Clarkdale, I shared. I raised both my children here. We actually live in Camp Verde today.
Mm-hmm.
I reside in the Toomey community. And so my children went through the Camp Verde School District. My son graduated from South Verde High School. My daughter graduated from Mingus High School, which made me very proud.
Yeah.
So during that time, when my son was born, that we have a lot of the activities we have today, we did not have back then. When in the 90s, we did not have a lot of what we have today. So we watched the environment, the community grow. We saw a lot of us that were not born or raised here actually come home to live here at home. And it's been exciting seeing that. So raising my family here, it was because when I was growing up, I was raised in a Pentecostal church. So, and I was not raised with my culture or traditions. So when I had my children, I wasn't able to teach them those. My father is from San Carlos Apache tribe. My father he spoke the language fluently and was raised traditionally. My mother is Yavapai-Apache. Our roots come from Sibique, which is from the White Mountains, on my mother's side on Apache, and then also we are Zuni on my mother's side, and then my mother is also Yavapai. So my mother was also raised in the church, and she spoke the Yavapai language fluently. So as a young child, as shared before, we are a matriarchal society. So we follow our mother's way. That is why we were raised in the church. That is why we were not raised traditional, and that is why we did not speak the language. But my parents did. Both of them did. So when I got older, and it wasn't until 2006 when I actually became engaged with my culture and who I am as a Yavapai-Apache person, because I was raised to be independent. I was raised to take care of my children and provide for my family. I do that to this day, and both my children are now adults and they're raised. So with that, I taught them what I was taught when I was younger. However, when my son got older, I did not know what to do to teach him as a man, becoming a young man. So we had him go with our extended family up into the White Mountains, where he learned the traditions of being an Apache man. And he came home and he is the man he is today. And I'm very, very proud of him, of who he has become. He works hard, he takes care of himself, and he's very independent. With my daughter, of course, when I had my daughter, thankfully, at that point in my life, I have elders who have all the wisdom, and they're the key holders to everything, who we are today. I spent time with many elderly women in 2006 who taught me the things I know today. Today, there's only 2 of those elderly women left. And they're still here with me. They are still my my cheerleaders, they are still the ones who encourage us. My daughter actually took part of becoming a woman through our Na'es, which is a sunrise ceremony, when our women come out and perform a ceremony introducing them to the world into their womanhood. And that was very, very touching because that has never been done in our family, and my daughter is the first to do it. So she's now grown. She herself is an adult. She is a college student, and herself is a very independent woman.
Yeah, that's amazing. We're going to take a short break now, and so we'll be right back. Listening to the Verde. We're here with Chairwoman Tanya Lewis, discussing her life as in the Verde River in the Verde Valley, and as Chairwoman of the Yavapai-Apache Nation. Chairwoman Lewis, we were talking before about your family, right before the break, and I wanted to ask you, how does the Verde River figure in your life and your family's life?
The Verde River is very special to us, to myself and my family, and also to the Yavapai-Apache Nation. A lot of us see it as a free-flowing river, which it is, and it's very special to us, meaning that it has this cultural significance to our people, to my family, and to myself. I look at the Verde River as not a thing or an object. It is a natural resource, and it's a being.
Yeah.
And it provides life to everything. Everything is a being, and everything has a meaning. So the Verde River is very special to us, and it is important to us. We use it for our ceremonial purposes as well. It has a significance to us. So for it to continue to flow is important because it provides life to each and every one of us here in the Verde Valley.
Mm-hmm. And I think we share that as a commitment, to keep the river flowing. And that's not an easy commitment to make, but it's a promise we make to the river. It's the way I look at it. Somebody asked, we were talking about who do we serve, who does Friends of the Verde River serve? And one of our board members immediately said, we serve the river. Any special moments on the river that you'd like to share? Any special experiences with the river?
Yes, where I live in Steele, the river is right below my home. At the time before that development occurred, I lived on the Middle Verde Reservation, just below the administration offices. Mm-hmm. As shared before, I was raised in Clarkdale, so my time was not spent a lot in Middle Verde. So Middle Verde was a new community to me and my family when we moved there. We got to know our neighbors. We got to grow closer to our relatives that we knew of. It was wonderful. And I would take my children down to the river. They wouldn't play in the water, but we would listen to the water. Mm. You sit or stand still and listen. You hear the birds, you hear the leaves, you hear the water. And if someone's fishing or recreation, you hear laughter, happiness, and gathering. So to me, when we went to the river, it wasn't for us to play in it, it was for us to respect it. It was there for us to take the activity in and give thanks to our Godfather and say thank you
Mhm.
for having this in our life. The river, to me, when I go there, just to stand, same thing, stand, sit, or listen, to bring calm, peace, to reflection, to clear your head, per se, and to regather myself and give thanks for us to have this in our lives and to have a free-flowing river for all of us to enjoy and take in.
Mhm. Yeah, that's wonderful. I think about the water ceremonies I've been involved in, and how we both give thanks and honor the waters that are life to all of us. That's beautiful. Let me shift gears. I want to give you a chance to talk about why you ran for election, why you wanted to be on the tribal council, and you've had these leadership roles as vice chairwoman and now as chairwoman, and what do you want to accomplish in your term?
Thank you. Yes, when I ran for chairperson this past year, when I run for any office within our nation, I believe in prayer, I believe in thought, and I believe if it's not in my heart to do it, don't do it.
Mhm.
But as our nation has progressed, and as serving as the vice chairperson, and the accomplishments that myself, the former chairman, John Healy, and the tribal council together have worked, the obstacles of COVID-19 for the whole world to go through that, the strength it brought, the collaboration it brought, the togetherness it brought, the care it brought, the love. I wanted to continue that. I want to continue that. Our council is amazing. We are amazing. We are respectful. We put our people first, and we collaborate and we work together, and we always meet in the middle. As just being human beings, there's tendency to disagree, but we're respectful of each other. We share and we work through it. And that's a lot of the reason why I ran as chairperson, because we need to continue that. We need to continue to keep our tribal council strong and putting our people first. And that is what this tribal council has been doing. And it's amazing of the accomplishments we've had during our tenure. We remodeled our casino inside and out.
Yeah.
We were working on many projects coming up. We have several developments that are coming up, and different ways to reinnovate our communities and those who come and visit us. So we have a wastewater treatment plant, a new one coming up soon. We have many other items coming up, and it's just being able to provide services to our people and keep and work in to be effective and efficient
Mhm.
for all of our people, and to really encourage that we're here to service. That's why we're here. As a government, we're here to help and do what we can and provide the resources to our people. And to see, and when I've served with John Healy as the former chairman, he and I had so many great ideas. And just as any other nation across the world, any community, when the pandemic hit our community, everything went on hold. And our priority was the safety and health of our people. So we really geared towards that, and we were very successful in that. But it took all of us to do it, and the togetherness, the bond that it built. However, when Chairman Healy left office, there was still more work to get done. And I would like to see those through.
Mhm.
So there's different ideas that we have, there's different things that we wanted to work toward, and even myself and the current vice chairman, Ricardo Pacheco, that we want to work towards. for the betterment of our community, for the betterment of our laws within our land, our codes, and within our administration for our people.
And I can imagine with 5 different communities, each of those communities has distinct needs also.
Yes, they do.
And so that makes your life a little more complicated.
It keeps me busy.
Yeah, keeps you busy. And is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yes, I always appreciate this opportunity to speak on behalf of our people, because I know there's always questions of who we are, where we're at, what we're going to do next. And there's a lot of developments that you'll see coming through that the council works very diligently on. I'm sure that it has been made public that we were in the process of a land exchange. We entered into a memorandum of agreement with the town of Verde, and it has been very rewarding to be able to have the communications and to work together with a neighboring community, because we are good neighbors. We contribute to the economy here within the Verde Valley. We contribute to our people. We contribute many ways through our economy, and we are good neighbors and good stewards to the land and to the earth. And so that's it's very important to us.
Yeah, I think this is a richer region because you are here.
Mm-hmm.
It would definitely not be it wouldn't be the same. We would not have that perspective of people living here who have always lived here, if the Yavapai-Apache Nation was not embedded in the community. So to say, I personally appreciate that very much.
Thank you. It's really neat because, as I shared previously, that sometimes we're not born or raised here, but we are tribal members here. This is our home. When I was younger, my mother used to share with me. She said, even though that happens, we have families, we raise them, we have careers, but we're not here on the reservation or in the Verde Valley. We're elsewhere in the world. We know in our hearts this is our home. That's why we come home. We raise our family, we have our careers, we have our education. But there's always that behind you want to come home. We retire, and we see a lot of that. And they come home. And some of them are younger. But we welcome everybody because this is our home. We know it. It's a feeling that we have, that this is our home. However, because we're in separate communities and our communities are small, the need is there for us to provide housing for our people, to meet those needs of our people. So, and our tribe is not getting smaller. We continue to grow. So as tribal leaders, myself as the chair, Vice Chairman Pacheco, and our council members, we look to that. I call it forward thinking. We're not planning for tomorrow. We're not planning for next year. We're planning for generations. We're planning for the long haul for our people. So when we're gone, there's something here for our children, our grandchildren, and those who are yet to be born.
It's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Chairwoman. And thank you for watching, listening to the Verde. For more episodes and to learn about the Verde River and everything that goes on here, visit verderiver.org/listening. Thank you.
Listening to the Verde is brought to you by Friends of the Verde River. Please visit verderiver.org/listening for more videos and resources.